Welcome back everyone to The Coach Approach. It's your coach, Blake of the Black Faker, and today we're going to talk about why Tyler1 is able to get to high elo as jungle even though he mains AD carry. So if you guys are ever wondering, why? How is this guy able to do it, but I can't? I'm a jungle main and I can't climb, or I'm an ADC main and he's easily climbing on jungle, or you're just curious on how he does it, stick around. Let's talk about it. Alright, so a couple of things here. Tyler1, kind of the debriefing. I don't really watch Tyler1. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, disclaimer, I'm not saying this is like a video to bash him or anything like that. I just know a lot of people come up to me, especially during coaching sessions, and they're like, I'm curious how this guy's able to do that, and I'm struggling so much on ADC. And so I just it got brought to my attention. Well, I might as well do a video on it because so many people are asking me about how it's even happening, how it's possible, is he really able to do it? A couple of things to know about Tyler. Like I said, I don't really know too much about him, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but a couple of things to note. He is, I don't know if he's a challenger ADC player. Correct me, you guys might know it. I know he's been challenger, but I don't know his current rig right now because I don't watch him. So he has been challenger. I don't know what he is right now, but I do know he's a good ADC. Now, a lot of his play did come from playing Draven. Obviously, it's not like he can't play any other ADC. He definitely can. The thing is, once you play one ADC, you start getting the grasp of a lot more. That's kind of how it works. They're all pretty similar. Once you learn one, you could probably play the other ones without much flaw. Now, him being a good ADC player doesn't necessarily mean he's a good jungler, right? You would think that, well, if you're maining one role, how is it possible to just randomly swap to another role? Let me ask you this. If you're a gold player and you're playing in bronze and you're playing an off role, right? And say you're a mid main, but you want to play ADC and you're playing in bronze and you're a gold player. How many of you guys think you can actually end up winning in bronze, even though you don't play ADC, but just because you're a gold player? Majority of you guys can easily get out of bronze and get to silver. Diamond players as well. Diamond players can smurf and probably get to platinum. But it's going to take some real slogging, especially on an off role, to get back to where they were when they were diamond. So I myself have an account for every single role, and I know from experience, getting to platinum is pretty much not that much, or it's pretty much not that hard to get back there. But getting past that on an off roll is a little bit more of a challenge, just like a lot more effort. Tyler has played about, I want to say it's close to 600 games on that account that he uses for jungle. The junglers that he does play are meta junglers, so it's a little bit easier for him to climb. Keep that keep that in mind. Meta junglers are meant to make meta anything. They're meant to make the game easier, and especially for a player that knows how to use the meta to their advantage. He might not be a one-trick jungler or anything like that, but he knows what meta is, and he knows what's strong and why it's strong. At least I would think he does. No matter what role it is, when you're a high elo player, you should understand what meta is supposed to be for. A lot of people can argue if Tyler's macro is great, right? A lot of people can just say, well, you have high mechanics as a challenger player, you should be able to, outmaneuver a lot of players. And then there are some people on the other side of the spectrum that say, well, I think Tyler1 is really smart, and that's why he's able to, climb with jungles, because, all he's doing is using his macro. That's the only reason why he's climbing. So you can see kind of where the line is dividing a lot of people here. One saying, well, if you're just better mechanically, you just automatically win. Another saying, well, because you're challenger already, you can easily be able to win through just mere macro choices. Now, in a sense, yes, as we said before, gold should be able to win in bronze, off roll or not. Diamond should be able to win in gold, off roll or not. One thing I will say though is I do not expect him to get to challenger with jungle. Here's why. You realize I can't even speak. You realize the example that I gave you earlier, right? It's a slog for a diamond player to get back to diamond, especially on an off roll, and it's a slog for a gold player to get back to gold playing an off roll from even bronze. That same example is used here, right? When you get closer and closer to your rank, you're getting closer and closer to players that understand the role at that ranked level. Tyler could be playing against players that just don't understand jungle that well, especially in Diamond. I myself has played against them, and let me tell you, we both inted, all right? We both literally were jungle camps. That game was literally a 4v4, and we were just, you know, inting. That's not the first time I played with him, you know. That's not the first time I played with him. Probably won't be the last time I play with him. But the thing is, you should be able to get back to that area, but you will start to see a slowdown in this climbing because he's starting to get to the area where junglers actually understand what jungling does. If he manages to get Challenger being an off-role ADC, that right there will tell me our NA server, we're in trouble. There's no way someone who is an off-role is going to get to the top of the ladder versus players who actually play their roles and stuff like that, right? Diamond 1, Diamond, Master, I believe he was Grandmaster as well. Like, those are high ranks, don't get me wrong, but that's not Challenger. That's not close to rank 1, you know? There's a big difference between high Challenger, high Grandmaster, low Grandmaster, high Master, low Master. Big difference, big difference. So, you might be like, well, Avery, how do you know? Weren't you just only Diamond? Yeah, you know, I'm only a Diamond player, but I do talk to a lot of players that just kind of being a coach, I want to research, I want to do a lot. And I often talk to a lot of challengers about kind of the situation, about what things are like, about their opinions on certain players and stuff like that. And that's pretty much just the information that I've gotten. There's a big difference between all of those. A couple of known sources is Rush. I'm a Cutie Pie, and I don't have those guys added. I've just been to their stream, like I best just ask them the question. But there are some other challengers that I've spoken to, and you know they basically come to the same conclusion. There's just differences. So the fact that he's able to, you know, beat Diamond players, get to low Grandmaster and stuff like that, it's about the equivalent of a gold player getting to silver and kind of having a hard time getting to gold from that area. Now, I'm not saying he can't get to it, but I am saying that that's the reason why there's a slowdown, because he's starting to go against players that actually understand the game to his level, and him being an off role is just not enough. Like, him being a good player is just not enough to beat someone who's been playing that role for years, who's understand, you know, the in-depths to that role. Also, just a brief interjection here, this is recorded after the video was recorded. I forgot to mention that he was he was coached by a coach. He's been coached by a coach. I don't know if he's been coached by multiple coaches, but he's definitely been coached by a coach for jungle. So keep that in mind as well. He has been coached by junglers before. It's not just I randomly play from ADC to jungle and I'm just kicking ass. He's been coached, he's been taught the fundamentals before, so keep that in mind as well. In depths. Did I say depths? In depth to that role. Back to what I was saying about meta. It's easier for him to climb because he is playing meta. I'm not saying he can't win playing anything other than meta, but meta helps you climb way faster if you understand what the meta is, you understand the champions, you understand what you need to do with those champions. Olaf right now is insane. Like, that champion, and that's one of the main champions that he's playing, is insane. Really easy to abuse people with, really hard to punish, and once he's ahead, he's gone. That's pretty much what happens, right? Once again, I'm not saying he's a bad player for doing it, I'm just saying that's what meta is. That champion is nuts right now. He plays Lee Sin as well. Another meta champion, really insane. You don't even have to really be that great with Lee Sin, and you can basically pull him off. Why? His mobility is insane, and his damage is ridiculous, and his early game potential is nasty. As far as Karthus goes, he does play Karthus. That is meta. You just don't really see it too much. And honestly, a lot of the games you can win as Karthus if you just kind of chill out and farm. You really are banking on your teammates to do well though, because if they all int, it's really kind of hard for you to do anything about it. But if you could just farm and have a jungler not really take advantage of you, and I've coached high diamond players, I've coached master players, they don't really take advantage as much as they should. Now, if you watch a Korean diamond game, those junglers are all in ass. Like, ass is everywhere, and they will make it known, and they'll go for it. NA's junglers don't really abuse the fact that you pick things like Karthus. So getting away with that, as long as your teammates don't end, I mean, it's kind of a toss-up in terms of how you're going to use it. Now, as far as Kindred, that's just another ADC in the jungle. Kindred's not really meta, but she's not out of meta, but it's just an ADC in the jungle. I would assume he can play that properly, and he can focus more on the jungle. He then played Elise, harder champion. His win rate's not too good on that. Not saying he can't play her, but that definitely requires more of a practice. You can't just pull Elise out of your ass and be like, hey, I want to play it, like you can with Olaf, like you can with Elise, and like you can with Karthus. And then we have Kha'Zix that he plays. Once again, Kha'Zix is just not that hard of a champion. So you kind of see where I'm getting. He's basically using champions that are actually able to do most of the work for him, as long as he just inputs the right information, so to speak, right? You're pretty much as smart as your calculator, right? The calculator is not going to do a lot for you unless you know what you're doing when you put in that information. The thing is, let's say that he's not using a calculator, he's using Google. You put in information, even if it's wrong, Google will try to correct it, and they'll be like, you want this, you mean, right? And then you're like, oh yeah, that's how you spell it, or that's what you want. That's kind of what Olaf and Lee Sin does. They kind of put out a little bit more than you put in, just because their kits are so good, just because the champions right now are so insane. So if we backtrack here for a minute and understand, well, he's climbing because A, he's a challenger player that should be climbing close to his rank anyway, no matter what he's playing, because he has a challenger brain, right? Like you would if you had a gold brain, you should be able to get the silver with no matter what role you're choosing. If you're a diamond brain, you should be able to get the platinum no matter what role you're choosing, because that's your elo that you're in. That's the elo that you're supposed to be in. And if your macro is good enough to get to those elos, no matter what you play, you should be able to get at least real close to it, which would be a tier below at least. He's also playing meta. So if you, let's say we want to smurf and we want to be an ADC player, you will get a lot more wins playing stuff like Jhin, playing stuff like Caitlyn, playing stuff like Ashe, rather than playing something like Kalista and expecting to just carry all your games. He's basically playing those champions that are meant to give you that push because they're meta right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen things like Leona, right? Leona, Nautilus, Pyke, Blitzcrank, Thresh. They're not really that great of a player sometimes, but they're getting people kills and they're becoming so massive and they're getting a lot of hooks off and stuff. But that's because that's a champ. It gives out more than what you put in because they're just built that way. Same thing if you play Malphite, right? Easy fucking build them AP, easy ult, you get a kill. Are you amazing at the game? No, it's just Malphite. That's how it is with Olaf. That's how it is with Lee Sin. That's how it is with Karthus. I will give him credit for playing Kindred. That champ doesn't really do that. He just plays ADC, so he should be able to play Kindred as well. And obviously his Elise, that's a champ that requires a lot of effort to put in, and he's not a jungle main, so I just doubt he would put that much effort into that champion. Now, as far as the other factor is that when players play with streamers, especially ones they respect, a lot of people respect Tyler, which means that a lot of people want to play harder when they're on his team, right? I know if I had random name, but I know everybody knows him, Faker on my team, right? And if you did too, you probably wouldn't want to troll him. You probably want to play well because it's like, okay, cool, we got this guy. Let's play well. It's pretty cool to be on this guy's team, right? So essentially, that's what's happening with Tyler as well. And vice versa, the person that he's going against, well, if you already know a Smurf is in your game, you're already inclined to kind of be thinking like, well, he's smurfing, you know, you're basically intimidated, like, I don't really think we'll win. And then once they start getting a kill or two, mentality just drops. It's like, oh, he has a kill or two, you know. And I know that feeling. I went against a lot of smurfs. When you're in Diamond, a lot of smurfs, you know, they go through Diamond. You might not see many good smurfs if you're in Gold and stuff like that, because they usually they're not there for that long. So they're gone. But usually in Diamond, they kind of stagnate just a little bit, enough for you to see them kind of multiple times. And there's just not that many people in Diamond anyway, especially this season. So you kind of see them more often. I've went against an EU Pro player before. I've went against, of course, like I said, Tyler. I've went against Tarzan. I've went against Dakar. And you know, when you know that that's on the enemy team, you get a little, you know, scared about it. You're like, oof, you know, there's a Smurf on the other team, which means, like I said, the mental just goes down when you know that they're a Smurf and they're already getting kills. You just assume the game's over. So that's kind of benefiting him. The fact that he is playing with people that he playing with people that know who he is. Now, you can't say they can't troll him too. I get that. But most often, especially when they respect the streamer, they're probably not going to troll. They want to do really well. And because they basically, you know, they're in spotlight technically when they're playing with someone like that. So that's just another reason on why his games might be a little bit easier. Now, if he played offline, his games will be harder. Will he still not climb though? Because, well, it's like, you know, now he doesn't have to pay attention to chat. I'm pretty sure he could play the same, paying attention to chat or not, until like higher elos, right? So that really doesn't have anything to do with it. I just think the fact that the people know who he is, they'll play better. The fact that, you know, they know if he gets fed, he's probably going to carry the game. And that's pretty much what's doing it. And honestly, I believe most of the games that he's played, his KDA is not that great. Not all the time. He does have some good KDAs, but I'm going to say about 40 to 50, maybe even a little bit more % of the time, his KDA is just not that great. Once again, those champions, even if they have poor KDA, they still do their job well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As I said, I'm not bashing him or anything. He's definitely a good player. I'm not saying he's not. He's definitely a good personality. He's come a long way in terms of, you know, not being as ragey, even though I do see him rage from time to time. So I'm not gonna say no. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, you guys. If you guys enjoyed it, thumbs up. I wonder what you guys think about it. Put your comments below. If you guys would like to be a part of my Patreon, you know, allows me to do more videos like this. It also has hidden videos on my Patreon that you guys can watch to get better. I'm going to start doing guides for champions and roles on my Patreon as well. Feel free to check that link below if you guys want to join my Discord. Perfectly fine as well. We have tips and tricks basically going through everything. Ask a question, get some help on it. We're also going to be doing events later and activities to basically make you a better player. That's what the coach approach is all about, making you guys a better player, better players. Right? Making you guys a better player or making you guys better players? Is it personal or impersonal? That's the question. Okay, I'm sorry. If you guys are this far into the video, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. And of course, you know what I always say. Thank you guys for approaching this like a coach.